I have always cherished the lotus flower. Their pure stems reach out from the surface of the muddy water, and their flowers bloom in colors of rare beauty. Realize that your calling is also here. This world and all that is found within it may appear to be full of dirt. However, you must not avoid these surroundings. You must bloom like a beautiful lotus. This is the reason why you have been born in this present life. Awaken to my rebirth. When I attain enlightenment, all of my disciples must awaken with me. The Rebirth of Buddha, reborn in present-day Japan. Ryuho Okawa. Preface, Revised Edition. I remember the profound emotion that was felt 2,500 years ago as I taught my disciples on Mount Rajgir in India, overlooking Rajagra, the capital of the Magadha kingdom. At that time, you had shaved heads. You wrapped your bodies in robes dyed the color of persimmons and wept for joy as you listened to my sermons. The age and the nation in which you were born have changed, and so have the clothes that you are wearing. However, your minds, which feel Buddha's truth, are the same. Master and disciple are eternally bound by the law. Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha are one. I deliver again to you this eternal book. October 1994. Ryuho Okawa. Happy Science. Chapter 1. I have returned. My beloved disciples, do you remember my voice? You have heard me speak long ago, for tens of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands, no, millions of years. Together, you and I have been born onto earth, over and over again. In the real world, too, you have continued to learn the path of Buddha's truth as my disciples. Awaken, my beloved disciples. I have now returned. Rejoice in my rebirth. Awaken to my rebirth. You must awaken to this truth. Now is the time of my rebirth. Many centuries ago, in the land of India, all of you, my disciples, heard me speak to you. And I say to you, the thousands and tens of thousands of my eternal disciples, to each of you who heard my teaching in India, open your eyes and wake up your hearts. Why do you continue your deep slumber? If you do not awaken, I cannot accomplish what I came here to do. When I attain enlightenment, all of my disciples must awaken with me. When I speak, all of my disciples must gather to me. My eternal disciples, hear the sound of my words long forgotten. Hear my voice long unheard. Remember my words, long unspoken. Again and again, I have spoken to you about how great the human race is, how great the human soul is, and how great the mission of humankind is. My eternal disciples, while your body, face, and mind may not be filled with a diamond-like brilliance at the present time, I have taught you to clear your mind and look deep within your heart. I have taught you that when you clear your mind and see your true self, you will discover you are a brilliant diamond. I have always taught you that you will discover within you the sparkling shine of a diamond stone. Devotion to the three treasures. My eternal disciples, my beloved disciples, hear my voice. I had taught you long ago to devote yourself to the three treasures. The three treasures are the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. The Buddha is the Buddha reincarnate. He is the enlightened one, the awakened one. The Dharma is the law of Buddha, the teaching which Buddha preaches. The teaching of Buddha is the one vehicle through the past, present, and future. There is one vehicle, one way of teaching, one set of teachings. In the past millions of years, tens of millions of years, and through even greater antiquity, humankind has created great many societies, great many ages, and great many cultures. The law of Buddha may take different forms in different ages, regions, and cultures, but the law of Buddha has always been one vehicle. The true teachings of Buddha have existed throughout all the ages. The many of you who hear this voice now, you have listened to my teachings in many different forms throughout many of your reincarnations. These teachings always taught one notion. They taught that there is a great spirit ruling over the great universe. And when this great spirit sends a part of himself to earth, this being becomes the Buddha reincarnate. Because of the mission and the authority that the Buddha reincarnate holds, he teaches the laws of the Venerable Great Spirit. Therefore, the laws of the Venerable Great Spirit is taught through Buddha. The laws which the Buddha teaches are eventually collected by his disciples into the scriptures. The teachings which flow within these scriptures are the eternal laws. Humankind must live by these laws. Humankind must live based on these laws. It does not matter whether the Buddha reincarnate is on earth or not. Even after he has left the earth, the eternal laws are a guiding light to all. The eternal laws will be a lighthouse that forever shines its light into the darkness, guiding countless people in the right direction. My people, blessed are those who live with Buddha. You who are born in a time when the Buddha reincarnate is not present, you must place your reliance on the laws. Base your decisions on the laws. and live by the laws, for the laws. It is the Sangha who nurtures, protects, and spreads the laws. Thus, the Sangha is the order of my disciples who have gathered together. The strength of the Sangha, the order of my disciples, will determine how far and wide the laws of Buddha will spread. Eternal values. My eternal disciples, you must not conform to the values of this age. Indeed, the world is filled with many tempting professions. There are many glamorous jobs in a worldly sense, but you must not allow your mind to be caught up in such things. Your mind must not be distracted by people's gossip. Your mind must not be swayed by people's words. Throughout the eternity of your reincarnations, you have always heard and followed my words. In the innermost depths of your minds, in the most genuine and sincerest part of your minds, you already know what has eternal value. Becoming connected to the laws taught by Buddha, living by the laws taught by Buddha, pressing forward to spread Buddha's laws far and wide, teaching the laws to each and every person's heart, and becoming as warm blood, carrying the laws to the hearts of each and every person. Are these not what you have always believed to have the greatest meaning for you? My people, do not let your minds waver over earthly values. My people, do not compromise yourself with what the world deems valuable. My people, consider the true meaning of your life. I have taught you over and over again that human beings have eternal life. The most important thing in the course of your eternal life is to realize that there is a great power which guarantees human beings with eternal life. When you awaken to this power, offer your gratitude to that power and live out your life for the sake of that power. Therefore, let the cycle of your reincarnations turn in this great wheel of law. Let your life go through its cycles. The Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha are individually precious. However, independent though they appear, they are a trinity. There will be no meaning for the Buddha to be reborn if he does not have the means to preach the laws. The laws will die without the Sangha to spread it. The Sangha without Buddha has no foundation to live by. The Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha mutually depend on each other, and together they form a single power. Yes, when you ponder on the nature of the laws, you will see that the laws do not exist independently from human life. The origin of the soul. My beloved disciples, come to know the origin of your soul. Call to your memory the origin of your soul. Let your thoughts rest on the great origin of your soul. You have already been taught that once upon a time, in order to put the universe in a state of prosperity and progress, the venerable Great Spirit of the expansive universe decided to take the form of man. Then, on this earth too, a personified Great Spirit, possessing magnificent power, appeared, and used the power it acquired on his own to bring a great number of souls into creation. This soul whom you call Buddha is the parent of your soul. He created you, raised you, and taught you as your parent. Thus, the relationship between Buddha and his disciples are as parent and child. The laws of Buddha join a parent to a child, like an umbilical cord which joins a mother to her child. At times, the laws will be a source of nutrition. At times, the laws will be a source of blood. At times, the laws will be a source of oxygen. At times, the laws will be a source of life. Know, my people, that the master and disciple are as father and child, or as mother and child. Know that you are connected with your parent by the laws. As long as you are joined together by the laws, you shall never hunger nor thirst. Should you ever feel hunger or thirst, it is because you lack in your efforts to study and practice the laws. You have not made the laws a part of your very being. Renounce the world. My people, resolve to study everything that I teach you. Listen closely to all words I speak to you. I have taught you countless times in the past that, like you, I was born into this world in a body of flesh and blood. I, like you, grew from an infant to a child to an adult. I saw the pains and suffering of this world for myself, and I could not let it be. I renounced the world and sought the path to save humankind. I traveled to many places and broadened my store of knowledge. I meditated in many places and refined my mind. At times, my masters were people. At other times, my masters were animals. I learned the way of life of the deers, snakes, rabbits, and elephants. I learned the way of life of the fish in the rivers. I learned the way of life of the trees growing here and there. The way of life of the flowers in the mountains and plains, and even the way of life of the grass. I learned the way of the honeybees and of the butterflies. I made all things in this universe my masters. In order to grasp the true laws of Buddha, I studied and studied, refined my mind again and again, and I continued to discipline myself. And after 6 years of training, I attained enlightenment. My enlightenment. What was the enlightenment I attained? What is the nature of human beings? What is the mission of humankind? What is the purpose of the universe? And why does Buddha exist? What is the relationship between Buddha and humankind? What is the mission of humankind, the purpose of life, and the nature of human happiness? What lies at the foundation of happiness? And is the pursuit of happiness really worth spending one's entire life for? These were the questions I sought, pursued, and found the answers for. This was my enlightenment as Buddha. Many of you have probably read about my enlightenment from various Buddhist scriptures. However, they are only written text. And while they have form, they have no scent. They have shape, but no substance. Can you comprehend the nature of my enlightenment? Can you recall what you learned about my enlightenment in your past life? Can you clearly recall the enlightenment that I had learned and taught you? The kingdom of the mind. My beloved disciples, in the past I have taught you that your souls are building an eternal kingdom. No matter how soiled your body might be, no matter how filthy your clothes are, or how emaciated your body might have become, your soul is the ruler of this kingdom. And I have taught you that in order to become the true sovereign of your soul, you must be able to control the movements and vigor of it. You, and you alone, have the right to become king over your own mind. You are the only one who holds this right. Remember what I have taught you in the past. You must become the ruler of your mind. You must govern the kingdom of your mind. Your mind will find more and more freedom as you acquire greater power to control it. I have taught you that you will be able to soar the skies like the Pegasus and gallop across the fields of the earth. First, you must remember your confidence in the laws. Remember that it is you who must rule over your own mind. Remember that, because your mind has been given to you, it is you and only you who can fully govern your mind. Remember that all minds can be ruled through individual effort and diligence. I have taught you these things in the past, and now I have taught you again. When your mind is trained, great mental strength will begin to grow. The mental strength that you gain through training your mind is the great achievement of your soul training in this world. You are undertaking this training on earth in order to equip yourself with this mental strength. I have taught you that just as your muscles can be trained to exert great power, your mind can be trained and refined to exert powerful mental strength. Once you have acquired this mental strength, it cannot be hidden away, nor will it ever fade, and never will it lose its value. The power you gain will be an everlasting treasure that will never leave your side. Indeed, this is what I have taught you. I have taught you that the more strenuous the training, the more powerful your mental strength becomes. I have also taught you that there are various ways of training that will develop mental strength. Indeed, I have already given you several goals in your training, the greatest of which is to sever your mind from attachments. For the purpose of a higher dimension. My beloved disciples, can you recall me teaching you to sever your worldly attachments? Can you remember what I have taught you about attachments? On this earth, your will is apt to become weak and become a slave to your physical body. You are swept away by the desires of the body, or the desires that arise and originate from the body. I've taught you of these tendencies. Human desires are not evil in and of themselves, for humans are a species of living creatures, whose existences are also governed by the law of preservation. However, the purpose of the preservation of the human species, unlike animals and plants, must not be for the sake of mere preservation. All of you who have studied the laws, all of you religious practitioners, who are called the disciples of Buddha, you must rise above simple preservation. You must not merely seek to retain your existence on earth. Your existence in this world is affirmed only when you live for a purpose that surpasses mere existence. Thus, you must not confuse the means for existence with the purpose of existence. Do not forget that you are living on this earth in order to support the higher dimensions. Do not forget that you exist on this earth in order to serve the purpose of higher dimensions. Yes, every one of you have worldly desires, and those desires are inseparable from your will to live. Severing all attachments to worldly desires may be tantamount to a denial of life. For this reason, I have always taught you to cast off lustful and wicked thoughts. Abandon immoral lust. Abandon improper desires for money. Abandon devious desires to dominate. Abandon unethical desires to possess. And abandon unrestrained gluttony. I have said to you, do not speak lustful words. Do not act based on wicked thoughts. These things I have constantly taught you, over and over again. Seek the right mind. My beloved disciples, do you realize how my teachings are being unfolded? In this present incarnation of mine, I called for you to seek the right mind. And do you remember that in the past I have taught you the same teachings? In the past I had taught you to rid yourself of immoral lust, lustful thoughts, and evil emotions. This teaching is exactly the same as seeking the right mind. This teaching is the pursuit of righteousness, seen from a different angle. My disciples, you must seek to enter the right path. You must seek the right path. In order to do so, you must first develop the power to control the emotions and thoughts that arise from being a human, and the actions that you take through life. You need to master your control over the thoughts that occur in your mind, as well as the motives that become the basis of your actions. Then, if you ever discover that your actions are meant for evil, for any kind of harm, then you are in dire need of self-reflection. I have also taught you the principle of forgiveness. As long as you are human beings, you may sometimes have wrong thoughts. As long as you are human beings, you may also do bad deeds. As long as you are human beings, far from being flawless, who wander on this earth, you must face and live in this world full of temptation. However, you must not complain of it. Do not be sad that you must face many temptations all through life. Even though you must face these hardships, remember that you have been given a way to extinguish evil and purify your mind. It is the practice of self-reflection. Is this not the Eightfold Path that I have always taught you? Remember it, and take ample time to ponder on it. Like a lotus flower. My beloved disciples, I have always cherished the lotus flower, and have used this beautiful flower in many parables. I will share another with you now. Look at the swamp that lies afar. Look at the swamp that surrounds us here. The swamps where the lotus flowers bloom are not places of great beauty. They grow, in fact, in unclean marshes. These mires are very foul. The water from which they grow is clouded, and the mud often has a foul stench. This is the place where lotus seeds seek out, take root, and bloom. Their pure stems reach out from the surface of the muddy water, and their flowers bloom in colors of rare beauty, in reds, purples, and whites, that are hardly seen in this world. Indeed, the blossoming lotus flower has a heavenly beauty beyond this world. My beloved disciples, realize that your mission is also here. Realize that your calling is also here. This world and all that is found within it may appear to be full of dirt. It might be filled with many temptations everywhere you look. It might be filled with many dangers that make you stumble and fall from grace. However, you must not avoid these surroundings. You must not endeavor to escape from them. From amidst this swampy mire, you must bloom like a beautiful lotus. This is the reason why you have been born in this present life as my disciple. I have taught you this before, and now I teach it to you again. No matter how much misery fills this world, no matter how much suffering fills this world, you must not make it an excuse. The salvation of humankind. If you believe in my voice, then believe these words which I speak of next. Buddha and his disciples are always born onto earth in ages filled with black clouds. They are the terminal periods when people's minds have become desolate. There is meaning for Buddha's disciples to be born in such times. It is in these very times that the salvation of all humankind becomes possible. You must not lament the age, circumstances, or people you are born with, no matter how they may be. The ages into which you descend, the times into which you are born, are always times of suffering and ages of sorrow for humankind. However, you must remember that it is your mission to declare the dawn of a new age in these ages of darkness. Is it not through this that you can fulfill your oath to Buddha? Come, follow me. My beloved disciples, my heart is filled with joy to see you again in this life. My heart is filled with joy to see you again in this life. I promised you that I would return in the days of the terminal Dharma, an age in which only a few people practice the teachings and know how to attain enlightenment. Yes, I vowed to you that I shall be reborn again in the days of the terminal Dharma and devote my body and soul to the work of building a Buddha land utopia with you. I promised you that in the days of the terminal Dharma, I would descend to earth to preach a new law. Can you remember this promise I made to you? I have never once forgotten this promise. The days of the terminal Dharma has come. This age calls to me, and it calls to you. My eternal disciples, believe in my voice. Awaken to my voice. Follow my lead. Come and follow me. Follow the shining white hand that I have raised. I am your eternal master. It is the mission of the disciple to follow the eternal master. You must never lose sight of this mission.